Thank you for
I hope you
having
can
me.
see me. Okay, great.
Louder, vision clear.
Ah, good, good. It's good to finally see your face.
Thank
Let
you.
me improve the camera a bit so that I'm in the center of the camera now. So, thank you so much for joining us. Rather, we had a bit of hiccup. We couldn't bring the host co-host on earlier on to chat about this before you, but we'll go ahead with the interview. So now that you're here, I just want to ask a question that I think a lot of Nigerians will ask, like, why curling? I mean, Nigeria doesn't have past history with this sport. In a country like Africa, it's unusual to find ourselves in the Winter Olympics. Not to talk of a sport like this. So, why did you decide you want to form this federation, and how did you come about the sport?
Well, nice for having me on your show, Yomi. First and foremost, the sport started from my own daughter in 2017 when she took us to go and watch a game. So she now asked us to take the game to Nigeria, that it would be something new. From there, we picked up the interest and then we started doing the needful. After then, we get all the paperwork, like in the sporting world, to become a federation, send out letters to other athletes, Nigerians in the diaspora to come join us. Basically, that the sport is played on ice and Nigeria doesn't have ice. So we had to, improvise. We started up with floor coiling, teach the youth in the country there in Nigeria how to play on dry surface. So while we are doing that, we are assembling the team outside.
Okay.
So that took me to lots of countries like the US, Canada, even around Europe in order to assemble a team. So, and we successfully did that. Having done that as well, we had to become a member of our World Curling Federation. In 2018, we admitted unanimously with no vote against. So we became a curling nation from then. And the rest is history you're seeing now.
Wow. So this whole thing started in 2016 and
2017.
2017, and you come
Yes.
that far that we actually have a team last year at the one of the calling championships.
Now
Um, so
we played three championship, not one, three.
three last year.
Yeah. And we played one this year, January in Austria before the pandemic.
Oh, great, great. So now you have a full-fledged team in the calling federation.
Completely, completely.
So
It's a
basically, how is this sport structured? In other Olympic sports, you have the ranks, you have the junior ranks, and you have the senior international ranks. So, is this structured as a full elite professional, or do you have amateur? Where people want to do this for leisure and all that can actually take part as well.
Well, like in other sports, we have juniors and intermediate and the pro. So Nigerian curling as well. We have the junior team, we have the amateur team, and then we have the pro team. As we speak, even we have the homegrown now that will be joining the pros to play in the next Asian Pacific coming up in Japan. Now, I think it's coming up in Okinawa in Japan in November. So we've already made the structure. We have all full team fully ready. Mixture of the home base and the pros to represent the country towards the Olympic 2022.
Oh, okay. So now, do you get funding like other Olympic sports under the Nigeria Olympic Committee, or are you running this completely like a private entity?
With all due respect to the Honorable Sports Minister, I think he was on Channels TV about 3 months ago. He said sports are meant to be like a business empire running on their own. Like what we are doing now, being in diaspora, we want to, carve the niche that sports can survive without government. That's why we are funding Nigerian show that you can fund sports without burdening the government.
Okay. Okay. So basically, the Nigeria Curling Federation is like a model for other federations now to look at
Sure,
how they
bet.
can have a autonomous sports federation in Nigeria. Because if you look at it, most of the top Olympic federations are actually only dependent on the government, apart from maybe football that has a bit of, that get some subvention from FIFA. The rest are solely 100% funded by the Nigerian, the Ministry of Sport, or before is the Nigerian Sport Commission.
Yeah. So, like what we are doing now is to set the record straight. Though we synchronize with the government, with NOC and the rest, but the table must be on a level playing field for us to, synchronize and then build and partner with the government to know that, oh, this is our activity for the year. This is what we do because we are representing the country, not ourselves. So we're trying to make it work in a sense that when other federations follow suit, they will now know that sport is supposed to be managed as business, not a thing that you'll be asking for money. Instead of you generating your fund, making sure that things are put in place.
And that's a big problem in Nigeria.
Sure.
In Nigeria, most of the people who run the sports are not, I think half of the seats on the board are actually recommended by the Ministry of Sports. So you have all these stakeholders who have representative on the board. You only have people from the private sector, from the business community that actually have the passion and say, we want to develop this sport, we want to spend our own money there. So there's always problems. There's always this tension between the ministry and the federation, always. And this is part of the problem that we're always looking for funds more weeks to the every championship.
You're very correct about that. And to all fairness to the present President Nigeria Olympic Committee, Engineer Gumel, he's doing a lot. And also with all credits to the new minister now, Honorable Sunday, he is doing well as well. So they are trying to make it work in a sense that there wouldn't be issue between the federation and the government and the NOC in terms of funding towards any international championship. So I think he has put up some mechanism to diversify the sports federation from depending on the government now, trying to make them self-reliant in terms of raising their funds and then to make things work. And then I've seen in most of the things they are doing now, to rejuvenate sports in totality in Nigeria concerning the issue of funding and then making sure that all sporting federations can get adequate support when needed. So if you don't have that capacity to take care of yourself, they will definitely support you. But they are driving towards all the sporting federations to be self-funded.
Self-funded, but okay. But that would be quite difficult in a country like Nigeria.
But we are doing it. So they can do it as well. If they want to be very honest about it, they can do it. If Curling Federation could stand on their own, go to championship internationally, fly across the world, representing the country, paying staff, salary, players, coaches, we don't see why they cannot do that as well.
Wow. Okay, so I would like to take a question from my co-host. So he said, are the players full-bodied Nigerians? Also, is Nigeria automatically going to be in the next Olympics?
The first question first, they are Nigerian, bona fide Nigerians. Second question, we are working towards that. That's why we are playing the qualifiers. This year alone, we're going to have 4 games. I mean, 3 games to play. One in Scotland, in Aberdeen. They call it the mixed coiling, which has 4 players. Then the second game is the Asia Pacific, which we are grouped in. We're going to have 2 teams, the male team made of 4, the female team made of 4. And the good news is that we're going to have the home base, 3 home base playing now. The one that we've trained in Nigeria, they'll be joining up the pro from the US to play in that Asia Pacific come November. Now we have mixed double for 2 in Israel, Turkey in December as well. All these are aimed towards Olympic 2022. So we are still moving.
So basically, as the COVID-19 disruption disrupted your plans, are they changes going to be made now?
Well, the championship remains, but for the plans for us to take our juniors out for training in the diaspora made it a little bit dicey for the team, because we are supposed to take them from Nigeria to Turkey to Canada and then to South Korea to be trained. So the COVID-19 has been an issue on that particular aspect.
Okay. So I have a question for you from Bella Omo. He said, how are you coordinating training during COVID? Or are you training at home or people on break?
Across the world, nobody is training across the world. So what we do is Skype, and then we Zoom. We talk to ourselves concerning strategy, meetings, how we're going to handle situation. Normally, every one of them is working out, and I am in touch with every player across the world.
Oh, okay. So that's nice. And Wale, my co-host, also asked if you have training camps abroad, especially on ice. Because you told me before that you're using dry ice to train the ones in Nigeria. So the ones abroad, they're using proper ice as in proper curling facility?
Of course, the Denver, Colorado Coiling Center is our home ground in the US, where we train regularly.
Oh, okay. So now...
But for those at home, sorry please, Wale, but for those at home, what we do is we have to, organize a clinical whereby we select them, take them to the ice nation and train. But all that will soon be a thing of history, because we are planning to build our facility soon in Nigeria.
Ah, okay. So coming to that, actually, you sent me something the other day about your plans of fundraising to build a first curling arena in Nigeria. So where is it in Nigeria? Is it Abuja or is it in Lagos? What's the plan for that?
The actual location is going to be in Calabar, Cross River State.
Oh, okay. So,
we've acquired the property already.
Oh, okay. So how is that going, the fundraising, and are you getting support from the government with that?
We've not gotten to that extent, but this is how it's going to work. First, we've gotten the property. We've made our business plan. We're going to submit it to our world ruling body, which is WCF. So they're going to give us some grants on that. And if we have the grants now, after seeing what we've raised so far, we match that up. If it's not enough for us to proceed on what we're doing, then we trade open again to the public, calling the government, calling the NOC, and then the sponsor that wants to partner with us.
To build that. Okay. That's really nice. So basically with that will be a landmark thing in Nigeria, because it will now
first in Africa, bro.
Yeah. So that will definitely allow a lot of young people in Africa who might even relocate to Nigeria to train for the Olympics. And so Wale asked the question, said, how do you plan to make the sports popular in Nigeria?
Like I was asked some few years back, is it possible to play this sport? I said, this is mission possible. How are we planning to make it popular? First, the dry coiling issue I told you about. we are now going to schools to teach them the basic on the dry coiling. Good enough, one of us is developing a training aid, which you're going to be seeing soon, which you can simulate the same friction on ice, same, which we, after finishing that, now bring it home, circulate it across the country so that people can simulate on ordinary surface as if you are simulating on ice. Now, what we are also planning to make sure that it goes around the schools is we're going to work with the secondary schools federation to make it a curriculum in all schools.
Okay. So basically, you'll be working with both the Ministry of Sports and the Ministry of Education to do that.
Sure, bet.
And so that's like taking to the next question. Will this Calabar facility be open for training, championship locally and internationally? Are you going to allow people locally in Calabar to come there to train, or is it only for the elite athletes within the NCF?
First and foremost, it's a facility for coiling. So everyone is welcome to coil. And mind you, it's going to be the first of its kind in Africa. We are also saddled with the responsibility to establish other federations in Africa, which we've done that already. We've gotten Gambia, we've gotten Kenya now on the pipeline. And now the same facility is going to be used throughout Africa. Everybody's going to come there and use the facility, not just the coiling athlete. Anyone who wants to coil, and it's going to be a multi-purpose arena, which we have one dedicated sheet for coiling and the other one for other ice sports, such as ice hockey, skating, figure skating, and so on and so forth.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay. So this sounds like basically what you are building now is an African-wide facility, and
sure.
and being the the pioneer federation in Africa, you have your job cut out for you, because we have 54 countries, and that's quite a lot. You know how traveling in Africa is. It's quite difficult.
Sure, it's quite difficult. Before we got the Gambia going and the Kenya, we went through a lot of hassles to make this happen. But we thank God they are up now. I personally submitted their documents to the World Coiling Federation. I didn't mean we don't have the issue at hand now with the COVID-19. I think we would have gotten an headway for Gambia and Kenya, but we believe that everything will be resolved soon.
Oh, okay. So, how are you motivating your team during this lockdown period? Any role for sports psychologists or trainers in there?
Oh, my team are physically fit. We talk all day, every day, either on Skype or we do a Zoom call or via telephone. We have a group already. We have a WhatsApp group which we talk to each other every minute. Oh, have you done this? Have you done that? Okay, watch the previous matches. They do, we do what we call television programming, which we program your mindset by watching a match. Oh, how will I perform if I'm playing against this team or that team?
Oh, okay. So basically now what you have with the Nigerian structure is based on the home based athletes, and also the established foreign players you have in US and in Germany, right?
Yeah, the players are from the US and partly from Europe as well, and then the home front, which is Nigeria.
Oh, okay. So now, do you have any plans to train trainers? Like the people you can train and send to these schools to help develop curling as a sport in some of our schools. Do you have that plans?
We already did that. We have about 4 trainers now being coached by our coach, Ella Bichor from Canada. Okay. So what they do is that, technology makes things easier these days, you understand? So they will get on Skype with him. He will, they take classes from time to time for that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's quite interesting, because, I was, after the last Winter Olympics in 2018, I was actually looking at that's what now that I'm retired from running, this is one sport I could go into. So I remember looking around where I stayed in in Warwickshire, and I couldn't find a facility to use in the UK. And I think the closest facility I could find online was in Scotland. So that's it. So for someone like me, if I want to train at home, I can start?
You can start with a floor coiling mat. You can pick up a floor coiling mat anywhere, order it online, then start with that first. Then when you are free to hit the coiling facility, to hit the ice, you can go to the nearest coiling facility where you can coil, where they can teach you the roots and the techniques of coiling. There you can build up from there and become a professional coiler.
Oh, wow. So that's good. I'm going to look at that. So now I have another question from Wale. They said, how do you intend to manage this facility when it's completed, knowing it's a problem in Nigeria? And that's good.
Yeah. Like with the German will say, this is a good fragen. That is a good question. Well, yeah, and a good fragen. So, like what we say is, that's a good question. This is how we're going to manage the facility. We are working with some of our German partner here. They produce the ice, the icing machine and other things. So they are the one who's going to manage that particular sector for us. And basically, we're going to make it a business like, not that it's totally free, but you're going to pay some incentive to come and coil. And it's not just a coiling facility alone. Remember, we're going to use it for other kind of sports. Even when we don't want to use it for ice, after being melted, you can use it for other purposes.
Oh, okay. So, like, can people use it for like ice skating and things like that?
Ice skating, figure skating, ice hockey, etc. Even the bobsled team, we're going to be assisting them for that.
Oh, okay. So are you talking to them? Are you working in conjunction with them?
Well, I know their presidents. I know some of their officials. So I'm relating with some of them on that. And basically as well, we want to make ice sports in Nigeria come to stay.
Wow, okay. Actually, that's good. And funny enough, someone asked that question that how far will the collaboration gone for Nigerian ice sports? Because basically with what the BSF have done, the Boblet and Skeleton Federation, and your federation is doing, basically you're gradually building Nigeria into a powerhouse in Africa for ice sports. So definitely we will expect some collaboration there.
Yeah, that's true. Let me tell you some brief history about the US. 10 years down the line before 2018, US wasn't playing coiling to the fullest. They were like Nigeria. When they took it seriously, 10 years after they won an Olympic gold medal in the last Winter Olympic. Similar thing can also repeat itself here in Nigeria, because one thing I am very willing to do, myself and the Secretary General of Coiling Federation and the entire team with us in Coiling Federation, we want to make a mark that will outlast our generation, so that our names could be printed in the history book that this fellow brought ice sport to the country and they made it stick.
Yeah. So I mean, what you're doing is quite unbelievable, because even the established sports in the country are having problems raising funds, organizing, and all that. So for you to bring a new sport and have these lofty objectives, it's a lot of work that you're doing, and we really, I would say kudos for that. But then one thing Wale asked that I was going to also put to you is that, he said, would the hot weather in Nigeria not affect the facility?
No, the structure first. No, the structure first. See, like we are using the model from Brazil and from Asian country that are 10 times hotter than Nigeria. Yeah. So once we have that model in our own facility, it then becomes very easy for us. The only problem we've identified that we're going to be facing is the power. But in that aspect now, we are trying to work on the solar and then combining it with the generating sets. to make sure that the ice is smooth for playing.
Ah, okay. So basically, that is for you to have. I mean, this ice is going to be all year round, right?
It all
You only
depends
bring
on
it
how we
during
want.
competition.
No, it all depends on how we want it to be run. You understand? In the Western world, yeah, where we base, actually, it's not all year round, but we want to try and make it at least minimum of 8 months running.
Ah, okay, okay. And but that's going to be very expensive though to keep that open that long. So you must find a
That's why
way to monetize the facility.
that's why we told you about the solar to run the plants, and then the power kind of. Now, what we have introduced on the business aspect, the business plan, multiply the numbers of secondary schools in Nigeria, the primary schools in Nigeria, the university, the army, the navy, and others individual that will also want to fill the ice as well. And then the leagues we're going to be having in Nigeria. So the facility is going to be busy all year round.
Ah, okay. I see that. So basically, part of the business plan to monetize this is to let it open to as many people as possible within the country.
That is true.
But how about security though? Have you
Well,
considered that?
yes, we've chosen Cross River because of the serenity of that environment. Is the state in the country that is less hostile. If you watch how it has been from ages till now, Cross River State has been the most peaceful state, the tourism capital of Nigeria. So that's why we chose security over everything.
Okay. So are you building other things into the complex? So the arena will be there, and then are you building like hotels, like medical centers, like shopping mall around it?
Sure, it's a full complex. Maybe after the show or whatever, I'll send you some of the designs we've gotten from other partners. We have the shopping mall, we have the hotel, we have the facility for emergency. There is the mini hospital in case of any emergency, and we have some other we have some other kind of sport that has not been introduced yet into the country, fitted into the master design kind of. But we don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. But as soon as we roll out the design for all for everyone to see, then you now see some of the features that I have not even mentioned in it.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's really. I'm just trying to envisage what you're talking about now, and it's a whole lot, and I'm kind of very optimistic and excited for the kind of future we'll have with this. Because and also one good thing about Calabar is also that they've built in a kind of tourist attraction within the locality. So it's a very good place to even use that to host other events that need indoor arena in Nigeria. Like, like table tennis, like things like that. That are not winter
Sure,
games.
sure. Table tennis, basketball, volleyball, beach soccer, and etc. So the facility is going to be seated on a very big acre of land, which can accommodate all the sporting uh, activity all in one particular location. Curling, ice
Yeah.
hockey, b-ball, even five-a-side football, etc.
So do you have sponsors already working with you for the federation, locally
No,
or outside the country?
no, we don't. It's self-funded. That's the most amazing thing. It's self-funded.
So since its inception in 2017, you've been you've not had sponsors for the team.
Not one. Not one.
Wow. This actually makes it so interesting. It's a lot. You
That
send I know you have this GoFundMe page for the people to contribute to the arena. If you we put that information in the comment section as well, so that people following us can see it, and people who are interested in supporting can actually go through the page. You can actually post that in the comments now, so that we can pin it, because I think it's
Actually,
important that people
it's on
support
our
this.
web page. It's on our web page. When they hit www.nigeriacoiling.com, they will see the GoFundMe page there directly. I'm putting up now our coiling our homepage there now for everyone to see.
Okay, so I mean, you guys, you've heard this. You need to support Nigeria. This is what is happening. You can hear the business plan, and I think we should all support this. And government cannot do everything, but for us, but at least So it's nigeriancoiling.com. So please support the federation. So thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for your time, for coming to share with us some of the plans for the federation, and also your plans for the arena. We'll be looking at this, and a little way we'll see what we can do to support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yomi, for having me, and I really, really had a nice time with you here. And my brothers in diaspora, we love you. My brothers in Nigeria, stay blessed, and together we'll defeat COVID-19. Okay, stay strong, stay fit,
And,
stay
and stay
positive.
very safe as well. Yeah.
And you too,
Thank you
bro.
so much. Okay. Cheers. Wow. That was some eye opening. I wasn't even